to you. Thank you kindly for joining us on the program. There's a lot we're going to cover on the program today, including new reporting from Hall Spencer in the Daily Progress about the potential motive to enter the home that exploded in Glenmore. Not only Hall Spencer with fresh reporting, but within this reporting, Mr. Spencer, who is, I would say, one of the best, if not the best reporter in this area, has done some investigation of his own, including an on-the-record statement from the Albemarle County utility company that manages water in Albemarle County, the Albemarle County Service Authority.
ACPS.
They, ladies and gentlemen, is it ACSA? ACSA, Judy.
You're right.
They have issued a statement that could be the motive of why the deceased Justine Jocelyn entered the home that exploded in Glenmore last week. And it is in complete contradiction, Hall Spencer's reporting, with the statements made by the Albemarle County Fire Rescue Department and the statements they've made with investigation about Justine Jocelyn entering the exploded Glenmore house to locate the source of a gas smell. We'll unpack this story for you. There's a lot of dynamic elements to this story, and goodness gracious, at this point in the story, it's looking like, still it's tragic, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody involved, the homeowners, with the deceased, with the gentleman who's recovering at the VCU Burn Center, with the displaced homeowners. There's 12 other homes that are displaced. A total of 202 Glenmore homes have been investigated for structural engineering damage. Jesus, this story is significant. It's significant. But when this story is all said and done, and it's this very sad nature of the world we live in, this is going to be about money and trying to diminish exposure to class action lawsuits and diminish risk is what this is going to come down to. It's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. We'll talk about this story today. We'll talk Jason Miyares doing a crazy campaign move at First Free Coffee Bar. Steve Harvey, who ran for Albemarle County Board of Supervisors in the Whitehall District, he lost to Ann Malik. Steve Harvey, who at one time ran for delegate locally, Judah, is the owner of First Free Coffee Bar. And Steve Harvey was hosting Attorney General Jason Miyares, who's running for re-election, and a campaign event, kind of a meet and greet, that the Albemarle County Republican organization, the local Albemarle County Republican outfit, was marketing and promoting this. I was notified that Jason Miyares was going to be here. And Miyares' campaign staff literally blocked reporters from entering the coffee shop in Hollymead. What is going on here? And is an example of the continued dysfunction at the top of the ticket in an election year where the governor, the attorney general, the lieutenant governor, and a bunch of down ballot spots are up for grabs. We'll talk Miyares and just incompetence from my standpoint. We'll get Judah's take on that in a matter of moments. We'll talk the displacement or the repositioning of the homeless under Freebridge. Mm-hmm. The bigger story is, is it local police? Which police department doing it under Freebridge, Judah?
It's Charlottesville.
If the Charlottesville Police Department is repositioning the homeless under Freebridge, does that mean the Charlottesville Police Department repositions the homeless on the downtown mall? We have to ask that question. We're going to talk an anniversary for Charlottesville Airport. Judah, is it 70 years?
70 years.
70 years for Cho? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. 70 years for this teeny tiny airport in Charlottesville that, frankly, I find just a joy to travel out of.
Oh, it's probably the best you can leave from.
Does it have the most amount of routes? Of course it doesn't. Does it face turmoil when there's inclement weather? Of course it does. But from a convenience and ease of travel standpoint, Cho is hard to beat, ladies and gentlemen. So much to cover. I want to remind you, the viewer and listener, if there's office space that you need, any kind of office space for your business, whether you're in a one-person shop, a two-person shop, a lawyer, an attorney, a financier, a banker, a therapist, if you're looking to get your business off the ground, if you have a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-man team, if you have an established business, DM me, call me, email me. Office space, you need it, you come to us, we'll match make for you. We have an abundance at our disposal, ladies and gentlemen. Downtown, elsewhere, you name it, we got it. Office space, reach out to me. Judah Wickower, studio camera. Judah Wickower, two-shot. Good Lord, the show, I'm texting with the guy that I have tremendous respect for and trust, an extremely intelligent individual and deep throat prior to the program. We're planning the show as I'm texting with him, and you and I are having to cherry pick which piece of content we're going to put in the rundown. There's so much. Are there items that did not make the headlines that are on screen that we should be discussing before we get to the headlines on screen on a glorious and gorgeous Tuesday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville, Judah?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's the parking spaces getting removed from Avon in the future. That's having a big effect on people living there. I believe there's a pregnant woman who's talking about the fact that if they remove her parking space, she's going to have to walk half a mile with a pregnant belly.
This is the Avon Streetscape project.
Yeah. A stroller and potentially groceries, rather than being able to park where she usually has.
There's talk with the Avon Streetscape project, a revitalization of Avon, that street parking will be eradicated.
Yeah, in order to make way for bike lanes.
Bike lanes and perhaps some more bicycle safety. Street parking eradicated.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, the scales of justice.
33 spots may not sound like much. But,
33 spots is a boatload of spots.
But when it's you or me or whoever it is that's affected, that is a big deal.
33 spots on Avon, potentially eviscerated, eradicated, wiped away for bicycle safety with this Avon Streetscape project. If you're one of the homes on Avon and you are, as Judah cited, a pregnant lady, a lady who's pregnant, and saying, look how far I'm going to have to walk while late in my pregnancy. How about rain? How about snow? How about children?
I mean, there are people that have to, that don't have cars, that have to walk, and so that's a concern definitely. But yeah. When somebody takes away something that you previously had access to.
What's it do to the value of those homes on Avon?
That's another question.
What does the Avon Streetscape project with 33 spots removed for a bicycle lane, what does that do to the value of those homes? The homes that rely on the street parking, ladies and gentlemen. So much to unpack in this wackadoo city we call Charlottesville, Albemarle County in Central Virginia, this region. We'll give some love to Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Conan Owen owns Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. He's a Darden School graduate. This business is locally owned and operated by Conan Owen. If you have a logo and you need visibility for it, signage, window decals, this banner that's directly behind me, direct mail, pamphlets, trifolds, stickers, passes, lanyards, Sir Speedy of Central Virginia, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic partner. So much we're going to cover on the show. We lead with tragedy, unfortunately. And we have new and fresh reporting from friend of the program, Hoss Spencer, who I have known for 20 years, 2 decades I've known this man. And the fresh reporting he has in the Daily Progress today puts into question the motive for entry in a home that exploded in Glenmore and absolutely rocked our region. The home that exploded on Ferndown in the gated community of Glenmore and Keswick, roughly 940 homes within that gated community. Justine Jocelyn died in this explosion. A man is now in stable condition but was fighting for his life. A man dragged out of the exploded rubble by Judah Wickower's assistant pastor. The Albemarle County Fire Rescue Fire and Rescue Department, initially with their investigation last week, said Justine Jocelyn and this unnamed man entered the home on Glenmore to assist in locating the source of a gas smell.
Yeah.
Homeowners on Ferndown have said that is not the case.
I'm curious where they got that information, because it seems like they stated that fact with an amount of certainty that belies what we're hearing now.
100%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Albemarle County Utility Company, the Albemarle County Service Authority. They manage the water, that said, we notified the homeowners of this Glenmore house that were vacationing in Portugal that an abnormally high volume of water was flowing toward the house.
Yeah, and
the Albemarle County Service Authority emailed, texted, called the homeowners that were vacationing in Portugal. Unable to get a hold of them, they turned off the water.
Yeah.
Then the Albemarle County, the homeowners that were vacationing in Portugal, notified, according to neighbors, Justine Jocelyn to go check on what was happening in the house from a water standpoint.
Yeah.
She enters the home. It's important to emphasize that it was propane and not natural gas.
Yeah.
And as Hall Spencer reports, propane, a heavy gas that sunk most likely to the basement. I used to live in Glenmore. Just about all the homes in Glenmore have basements. The gas is heavy, sinks to the basement.
Yeah.
Justine Jocelyn enters the home.
Along with the guy.
Along with the man that was pulled out of the exploded rubble by Judas Pastor. A flick of a light switch could have caused the explosion with that much gas in the basement of the house.
Yeah.
Now we have one Albemarle County department, the Albemarle County Service Authority, literally shooting holes in the investigation of the Albemarle County Fire and Rescue Department. At least motive holes.
I think the information that they bring to light calls into question some things. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily themselves, messing up the story. It's just a matter of, it's not like there wasn't any reason for the owners to call a friend and ask them to check about the gas.
The vacationing couple contacted the Albemarle County Service Authority later in the day, after receiving notification from the Albemarle County Service Authority that an abnormal amount of water was flowing to their house.
Yeah.
The Albemarle County Service Authority then told the vacationing couple that the water had already been shut off and halted. The vacationing couple utilized that warning of abnormal water flow to notify their friend and longtime Glenmore resident, Justine Jocelyn. She then entered the house to investigate around 6 p.m. with another unidentified male neighbor.
He was the one that was pulled out of the rubble.
Both went into the basement, and then the house exploded.
Yeah.
Guys, this story is moving and dynamic and tragic. 12 adjacent houses, borderline uninhabitable, and the Red Cross is offering to help from a shelter standpoint. And 202 total Glenmore homes being investigated or have been investigated for structural damage.
Wow.
That is more than 20% of the neighborhood.
I was going to say, that's a large proportion of, 900 or so houses?
More than 20%. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to tell you, in this litigious society we live in, you have a number of entities involved that are doing as much as possible to hedge risk. Because if there is, in fact, dozens of damaged homes And I can probably safely say dozens, because we know one exploded and 12 others we know of are damaged, if not inhabitable.
Yeah.
If 202 were further investigated because of the collateral damage of this explosion, the sonic waves that go through the ground, and what they can do to structurally a house, you may have it in the dozens here. These homes on average, I would say, probably have a market value of somewhere between 1.1 and 1.6, with a median value in Glenmore probably between 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Know it intimately, with the sale we did in May of last year. Lower thirds on screen. You have them on screen? Mm-hmm. Anything I'm missing or you think that needs to be added to this conversation? Logan Wells, Claylow, Vanessa Parkhill, thank you for watching the program. Radio, print, and television watching the show.
There was mention in the article of a lightning strike that could have been the cause of both a water and gas leak, which would help to explain.
Can I tell you this? Yesterday, I received this text message, and I was hesitant to read it. I'm going to read it verbatim. Yesterday, I received this in the evening. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you, so you see that I'm reading from a screenshot.
Okay. I can't read it, but...
We had storms here on Sunday night. Thunder and lightning everywhere. The propane tank exploded because of a lightning strike. The tank was not grounded. And it was not grounded because of installation prior to 2004. The electrical force from the lightning traveled through the gas pipe into the house and broke a pipe. Because of that, propane may have leaked for more than 48 hours. Oof. The vapors were dense, made the water alarm go off, which could be an alert the owners received. Mm-hmm. Intel last night I received was a lightning strike hit the tank, which was not grounded because of installation prior to 2004. And that strike, enough electrical force that caused a pipe to break and the gas to leak inside.
And probably also affected a water pipe.
Which could lead to the water flow abnormal.
Yeah.
The water flow that comes from what? The tap in the street to the house.
Wherever the shutoff valve is, whether it's in the front yard. I know my shutoff valve for my water is in my front yard. I don't know how it is for
my shutoff valve on my yard is in the front yard too.
Oftentimes for larger houses, I think you may actually find a shutoff valve in the house, but
no. You got to be clear here. The Albemarle County Service Authority, for bills that are not paid, can go to a house in Albemarle County and shut off the water without entering the house. Mm-hmm. And that is often street side in the front yard because they don't want to be traipsing through people's yards.
Right.
The shutoff valve that you have in the inside of the house is one you control.
Right.
But the service authority can shut off the water without your control on the tap or the meter at the front of the yard.
Yeah, that's true.
So the intel I received last night is a lightning strike on the propane tank that was not grounded that caused the leak.
Right.
It's a wild story here, a tragic story. I'm not underestimating the tragedy here. Mm-mm. I do want to emphasize the Albemarle County Service Authority is calling into question the motive as it was presented to us by the fire department in Albemarle County last week.
Right.
For entering the house.
Yeah.
If Viewers and listeners, any thoughts you would like to add, put them in the feed. We will relay them live on air. John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion, 61 years in business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply on East High Street, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. This is a 5-generation Albemarle County family, the Vermillions, and their business is 3 generations strong. Pool cleaning, robot pool cleaning needs, keeping the chlorine clean and crystal clear blue and healthy, any sanitary needs you need in your house, vacuum mechanic repair. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply is locally owned and operated. Deep Throat says, probably how the confusion happened with the fire department's investigation. She went in to look for a leak. Fire officials assumed that must have meant gas leak, but it could have meant water leak.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I wonder if both could be true. What if they went in looking for a water leak and smelled something in the air? If most of the gas was down in the basement, it might not be all that noticeable in the on the first floor, and as they went into the basement, started to smell something, and unfortunately turned on a light that could have set it off, and could explain how she ended up immediately killed and buried, where the man may not have fully entered the steps of the basement, so it wasn't as, I don't know, but it would tend to make some bit of sense that it could be both.
And I'll add to that. I'll add a little bit more color. A lot of the homes in Glenmore are similar in design and footprint, brick Georgians on 3 levels with a basement. The mechanicals in these brick Georgians, and I know firsthand because we lived in one for almost 4 years, the mechanicals in these brick homes are in the basement level in a utility room. The shutoff valve for the water is in the basement. The hot water heaters are in the basement. If there is a water leak or the benefit of the doubt is entry was done with water leak. Yeah. Because with gas leak, right, entry is extremely dangerous.
And the people that Haas Spencer talked to,
the neighbors on Ferndown,
made mention of that. She wasn't an idiot.
She knew not to enter a gas leaked house.
Yeah.
She knew not to enter a gas leak house. So on water leak, if that's the motive to enter, you are heading to the basement.
Yeah.
To check for the water leak.
Right.
And flicking a switch on in the basement to see in a utility mechanical room an unfinished part of the basement where the hot water heater and the mechanicals of the house exist. And that basic flick of the switch could have caused the explosion.
And usually the light switch to a basement is at the top of the stairs where you'd be less likely to smell the gas.
100%. That's exactly how ours was set up. 100%. A tragedy.
Yeah.
Hall Spencer with fresh reporting in the Daily Progress. Next headline, Judah Wickhauer.
Miyares in a odd
Jason Miyares, the Attorney General, the incumbent running for re-election. What is he doing here?
Nobody knows.
What is he doing here?
There was no... so, to those listening, Miyares had a stop at the First Free Coffee Bar.
Which is owned by Steve Harvey.
Yeah, owned by Steve Harvey.
A staunch Republican.
Located in Hollymead. It's been the site of, I believe, quite a few, maybe not town halls, but campaign stops for Republicans. As Jerry mentioned, Steve Harvey is a staunch Republican, and in this case, Miyares had posted that he was going to be there. He didn't mention anything about restricting access, but when reporters showed up to the coffee bar, they were told they were not allowed to come in by Miyares' campaign members.
I'm showing you an email. Judah can see it. Can the viewers and listeners see this?
A little bit. There you go. Tilt it a little bit. I think that's somewhat viewable.
Okay, you can see it.
Yeah.
An email I received on the 9th of August. The Albemarle County Republican Committee, often just like the Democrats, the Libertarians, the Socialists, Indivisible Charlottesville, I'm on all these listservs because of the show. I'm on more listservs than I ever want to be on. I don't sign up for these listservs. My email, which is very public, gets on these listservs, constantly being asked for plug this on the show. One of the things that's often frustrating with the show is probably a half a dozen a day looking to plug something on the show. It's the nature of the beast. This email literally is promoting support Attorney General Jason Miyares, Tuesday, August 19th, 9 a.m., first free coffee bar, come on out. Has a graphic. Come meet him. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to meet a guy? He's running for election. He needs you to vote him. The Daily Progress, on the same listservs as I am. They're the newspaper. They're like, oh, this is news. Here's the Attorney General, the incumbent, running for a re-election. Yeah. Let's go cover it. They get to Steve Harvey's coffee shop in Hollymead. Steve Harvey, friend of the program. And Jason's campaign staff does their best bouncer impersonation as if it was a nightclub on a Friday night on the downtown mall.
Well, first they just told them they couldn't come in.
Why would you do this?
It's bad press. It's
Steve Harvey then goes and realizes that this is a bad press and a bad look.
They went to Steve Harvey, the reporters, and said, hey, I'm not sure why they're not letting us in. We haven't done anything. We haven't said anything. We're just here for the stop. And he let them in. And then it gets crazier. Miyares' team basically stands in front of the reporters to block their view.
As if they were creating a dam in a river, a dozen beavers blocking the reporters to try to keep them from interacting or seeing Jason Miyares, despite the fact that they don't realize that sound travels. He's speaking into a microphone and it can sidestep the blockage of the bodies. This is the utter definition of moron and incompetence.
You could just hold your phone up and take pictures.
The staff of Jason Miyares tries to block the reporter from the Daily Progress as if it was a beaver building a dam in the Rivanna River. And the reporter is like, dude, you're blocking me, but I can still hear him. I'm in the room with him, and he's talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
And it's yet more reflection at the top of the ticket in the Commonwealth of Virginia of dysfunction, idiocy, not seeing the forest through the trees, and just questioning the basic strategy and common sense of Winsome Earl Sears, of Jason Miyares, of John Reed, and Glenn Youngkin. The sextortion with John Reed and Glenn Youngkin. The Winsome Earl Sears canning her campaign manager a few weeks ago.
To be fair, she's made up a lot of ground since then.
The dysfunction associated with not showing up together at rallies.
Yeah.
Yes, Winsome Earl Sears has closed the gap. Fundraising and poll projections.
I believe she's gone from a 17-point disparity to just a 7-point.
I'll put the over-under on this. 10 points. Bamberger wins the governor's race by 10 points or more. Prop bet, do you want to do one?
No, I think Spanberger's probably got it. But
9 points on the prop bet. Over-under on 9, do you want to do one?
I'm not doing it.
8 points on the prop bet. Spanberger, over-under on the prop bet.
No, thank you.
I'll extend it. 12 points. Spanberger.
That's okay.
Why would Jason Miyares do this?
It's
Bill McChesney, Logan
curious.
Wells Claylow, Vanessa Parkhill, viewers and listeners. Why would he do this?
It's clearly a bad look.
It's insane. And that story in the Daily Progress, is a story that's going to make the Lee Enterprises newswire and be run in every Lee Enterprises newspaper in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Because Lee Enterprises owns the most newspapers in Virginia. Ginny Who, thank you for the retweet. John Blair, thank you for watching. yet more dysfunction reflection at the top of the ticket with the Virginia GOP.
Yeah.
Next headline, Judah Wickhauer.
Next up, we have Charlottesville Airport.
I want to spend 90 seconds on this. A 7-year anniversary from a tiny airport in northern Albemarle County is something to celebrate.
Yeah.
The 70-year anniversary of the Charlottesville Airport and the 50-year anniversary of the Charlottesville Downtown Mall next year. Those are milestones.
And anyone who's flown out of Charlottesville Airport for any period of years knows that they've come a long way.
Oh my God.
They've made some amazing changes to the airport. They've also added quite a few stops, so you're not just. It may have been just flying to Richmond and DC. I don't remember. I don't know what other stops they had leaving Cho previously, but they've added quite a few. And if you've been to other major airports, you know that it can take. I mean, they tell you to arrive at least 2 hours at some places before your flight leaves. Charlottesville Airport, it's like butter. You get in there, you're like through the line in a few minutes. You can get to the airport half an hour, 45 minutes before your flight leaves, and not have much to worry about.
Vanessa Parkhill wants to know, are these campaign missteps a coordinated covert op by the other side? It's also ridiculous you have to wonder.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. I don't think this is a coordinated covert
I don't know how it could be.
op. I don't know how it could be either. Because it's his staff that's doing it.
Yeah.
It's the Miyares staff that is literally trying to block the press from entering a coffee shop where the event was promoted by the Albemarle County Republican Party, and the Albemarle County Republican Party invited the media, the press, to the event. What?
It's weird.
It reeks of, what's the word? Just dysfunction and disillusionment is not the word. Being disillusioned.
It's not like there was anything he was trying to.
Incompetence.
It's not like he was trying to
idiocy.
hide.
It is idiocy.
Yeah.
It is idiocy. You want the press there covering your event because you need votes from their readers.
Yeah.
70 years for Cho, 50 years for the Downtown Mall next year. If anyone had said when Cho was launched 70 years ago that this airport in 1955 would have made it 70 years, people would have laughed at you.
Potentially.
Is it the most affordable? No. Does it have the most robust route and flight schedule? No. But is it super easy to get in and out? Yes. Is it a breeze? Yes. Is it clean? Yes. Is it quality of life? Yes. Next headline, Judah Wickhauer.
And their breakfast is pretty good, too.
The whole experience is amazing. We used to fly to New Jersey. I tell this story probably once every 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
This firm had a handful of accounts in New Jersey, Morristown, and New Providence, Chatham specifically. We would literally fly a week, spend a week in Morristown every quarter, and we'd fly out of Cho. We'd spend a week working like 50, 60 hours a week, working at a satellite office in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. There was one time where, I don't know why, maybe it was some kind of late. I don't know if it was my alarm or something. I was running late to the airport. I literally arrived at the airport 5 minutes before the flight was going to take off. Judah took my boarding pass, hid it under a chair in the airport. I picked up that boarding pass, hid it under the chair.
Sent you a picture of it.
I sprinted through security, and 5 minutes before the flight, boarded the plane, and it took off. I arrived
5 minutes before the plane left.
Before the plane left.
Boarded. We were all boarded and waiting.
5 minutes before the plane left. No BS. 5 minutes before the plane literally lifted its wheels and made it to New Jersey.
They reopened the door.
They opened the door for me. Vanessa says, Spamberger was CIA, right? They could have planted volunteers in the campaigns of opponents, or maybe I watched too much House of Cards and Scandal. I love House of Cards. I mean, I think this is just idiocy on the Miyares campaign, unfortunately.
Because here's a further small detail. When I'm guessing that the press reached out to Miyares' campaign, and they received an email, and who knows, maybe somebody.
Don't be conspiratory.
Okay. Press Secretary Alex Cofield responded to them with an email saying, essentially, sadly, tomorrow's event is not open to the press. Press went anyways, on the off chance that he would be able to. I think they just wanted to wait and see if he would come out and speak afterwards, or if they could, talk to attendees and see if they had any views on what had been said inside.
The bigger problem is this. When you have a campaign event and saying it's not open to the press, that is a level of transparency that is missing from your campaign. And what we want from elected officials, especially ones we're considering voting for, is transparency and communication. And when you start utilizing strategies of, we're going to hide this from the press, it asks you the question, what else are you hiding?
Begs the question, yeah. And
John Blair says, I take the under on Spamberger by 12. How about John, Spamberger by 9? Where are you putting your money on that? Spamberger, if I put the over-under on a 9-point spread, you taking Spamberger covering 9? Does she cover 9, John? I think Spamberger wins. I think John's alluding to it being a little closer than meets the eye. But I'm saying 9, John. Where's your over-under on 9? And he agrees with Judah. Flying at a Cho is truly like you're flying in a private airport. Next headline, Judah Wickower, what do you got?
Let's see. Next up is police assisting the relocation of unhoused from.
All right, set the who, what, when, where, why of police relocating the homeless from under Freebridge, Judah. And then viewers and listeners, where we're going to segue on this.
Mm-hmm. So you may have heard of some unhoused who have been staying underneath the Freebridge, and they have been. I think part of the issue is that people walking the trail near there have taken issue with them. It's you're walking down the trail and all of a sudden you see an encampment of people. I would imagine it could be scary, especially considering the fact that we had within the last year or two.
That man that was working on the Ravenna Trail groping women.
Yeah, exactly. So part of the reason I think that they wanted to relocate them was to set people's minds at ease. The other issue is that we've had a lot of rain, and the Ravenna River often has overflow. Where they're staying, I don't know the area that well, but could have serious safety issues if they were ever caught in a flood in rising river waters.
Okay, here's the problem. You have the Ravenna Trail, and Freebridge is a critical access point, trailhead, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And because of Freebridge, there was shelter for the houseless who were sleeping outside and flowing water to bathe in or enjoy. So there became a homeless encampment under Freebridge. The bridge offered shelter from the weather. Yep. The water offered a source of quality of life, bathing, whatever you want to call it. Let's hope to God it was not being drunk without being boiled.
You've also have...
the concern you have is that is a trailhead, an access point, a nexus. You have the groper that was arrested, and you have people all over that, and they're trying to turn that area into a promenade. Mm-hmm. The county's trying to turn that into a promenade, no car access.
Yeah.
Right around there.
Yeah, they closed off access to cars recently, and I believe they're going to keep it that way.
Is promenade the right word? I think it is.
It's fair.
Okay? So they had a lot of moving parts here, and they had to reposition the homeless from under Freebridge. The natural segue, ladies and gentlemen, if the Charlottesville Police Department is repositioning the homeless under Freebridge for all the reasons I just rattled off, then is that not an indication they will reposition the homeless from the downtown mall, especially come September when an executive order from the Trump administration empowers local jurisdictions to repossess the belongings of the houseless who are sleeping in areas they should not.
But here's the difference. First of all, there are a lot more unhoused on the downtown mall. And second, they were not just repossessing their belongings.
Yeah, they moved them.
Yeah. They
How is the strategy any different than moving them off the mall?
connected them with resources and storage for their belongings. I don't know what that looks like or what that involves, but that could be a way to help them, at least with, not having to cart around all of your belongings.
John Blair says that 9 is a very tough call. As of today, I just don't know where would my money would lie if the over-under was at 9. Judah, that removing, repositioning, whatever you want to call it, I call that management. That's going to catch arrows in my chest for me saying managing the homeless.
But there's also a certain amount of managing perception, because saying that you're going to assist the unhoused on the downtown mall with storage for their belongings is a very extremely different look than saying that you're just going to walk the mall and abscond with all their worldly possessions. I don't know how many people would go for that. I don't think I would go for that. I don't think it's fair to, I don't want them.
I'll take it a step further.
Sleeping on the mall.
I'll take it a step further. If there was notification done in advance that if you're sleeping on the downtown mall, notification done well in advance that if you're sleeping on the downtown mall, local authorities have the right to take your possessions, and weeks of notification was offered. If the houseless were notified in person, if posters were positioned, signage was up, if they went literally tent to tent, sleeping bag to sleeping bag, vestibule to vestibule, storefront to storefront, and let the houseless know on this date your possessions will be taken. Does that then give you what you need to do it?
You may be able to do it either way. You may be able to do it without the notification, but I still think it's a bad look. And why would you? If there is,
it's a bad look in that the police department's going to have to do it, and that's a position that no one on a police force should be in.
But it's a bad look that anybody would do it.
It's a position created by City Council and City Hall. It's the collateral damage of City Council and City Hall and poor policy and decision making and a lack of seeing the forest through the trees that have got us to this position. And it's coming at a time when the 50-year anniversary of the downtown mall is next year. Mm-hmm. And that's a monumental anniversary.
Yeah.
Next headline, Judah Wickower, what do you got?
I don't know if we have any more. Let's see. Oh, there's Elliott's record.
Tony Elliott, ladies and gentlemen. His first football game is on Saturday. Coastal Carolina visits Charlottesville, 6 o'clock kick, Scott Stadium. 12 points, the Chanticleers are underdogs. Tony Elliott, ladies and gentlemen, in his first 3 years in Charlottesville as the head coach of this Virginia football team, has a 6-12 home record. He has a 2-10 record in ACC play at Scott Stadium. I will say that again. In the last 3 years, UVA football has played 18 home games. And in those 18 home games, they are 6-12 at home and 2-10 in ACC play. He's won 2 ACC home games in the last 3 years. We talk about economic development in Albemarle County. We talk about economic vitality in the city of Charlottesville. We talk about incremental sources of revenue to alleviate the tax burden on real estate and personal property. I'm not saying this is atop the list. It's not. But it's certainly in the top 10. You want economic vitality, economic development, and you want alleviation on tax burden with real estate and personal property, this Virginia football team better start winning some games at home. Because the average attendance is below 30,000 on a stadium that seats north of 60,000. The delta less than 30,000 and a max capacity of 63,000 is a massive delta. Mm-hmm. When people have to stay in hotel rooms for more than one night on home games. That's the requirement. Economic development, economic vitality, that 2-10 ACC mark, that 6-12 overall home record, that must change. And it starts Saturday against Coastal Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Virginia's got Coastal Carolina, NC State, William & Mary, and Stanford. 4 games to start the season where they're going to should be favored in all 4. Maybe you're not favored on the road at NC State in week 2. 12 o'clock kick in Raleigh in week 2. But it's probably a pick 'em. If you're 4-0 going into that Florida State matchup in Week 5, Friday night, ESPN, national televised broadcast, boy, oh boy, you talk about economic development and economic vitality. My name is Jerry Miller, and this is the I Love CVille Show.